While doing research for my video on the rice water that the Yao women use, I discovered they use ginger as well, by itself and also in their rice water. Also, in Asia as a whole, including India, ginger is a very popular ingredient. So this is how I make my ginger hair growth elixir. It's not an oil, it's not a serum, it's somewhere in between. So you're starting with one that's a little bit over the size of your thumb, and then you don't need to peel it, you just need to wash it and make sure that it is thoroughly cleaned. And then all you need to do is get a grater and grate it on the small side, but not like on the smallest side where it feels like everything's getting caught, because you still want sort of big-ish pieces of ginger. So you want to grate it until it is nothing. But if it's stringy or whatever, that is perfectly fine. You can use all that as well. So once you're done grating it, you want to add it to a bowl or a jar, just anything that is glass. If you only have plastic, that is fine, but always go for glass or at least metal first, because you don't want any of the plastic to seep into your product. So this is the ginger when it's done grating. I move it into my bowl and I am now going to add some hot water. It is not boiling hot, but it's definitely hot enough for like a warm cup of tea. I'm only using an eighth of a cup. You can use like around 2 tablespoons. It's about the same amount. And all you want to make sure is that all the ginger is completely soaked in the water. So here you see me with my fork, and I'm just pushing the ginger down gently to make sure it doesn't need to be floating. As you see, it kind of looks like this water is just from the ginger. You just want it to be nice and packed down and completely covered by the hot water. And then all you need to do is let it sit for about 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, everything that you need would have like been extracted from the ginger. And now you can move it into a bigger bowl. I'm going to be using this sieve, which has like a really long sieving part. So it's kind of like a cheesecloth as well. If you have a cheesecloth, it will probably be easier for you to use a cheesecloth, but use what you have and just do your best. So once I made sure I emptied everything into my sieve, I take the back of this spoon and I'm just kind of mashing it down to make sure that I batter the ginger a little bit more and get as much of the extract as possible out. And then I take off the spoon and I will start to squeeze just with my hands. And because this is kind of deep, like I said, it's kind of like a cheesecloth, I will be able to squeeze the ginger through with my hands, even if it's not like it's not a regular mesh metal sieve, which you would fail to do this with. So as you can see, I'm just actually not very gently squeezing it, and once I've got as much liquid as possible out, it is time to add some oil. So first I'm adding castor oil, and I'm only adding 1 tablespoon. You don't need to make a lot of this because one, it doesn't have a very long shelf life, and also you really don't need to use it that often, so just make a really small batch. After that, I'm adding about 1 tablespoon of olive oil as well, and once that is done, all you need to do is mix it up nice and easy, and then you can get a funnel and you can decant it into whatever bottle you'll be using. I'm using a 30 ml bottle, which is kind of small, so this actually won't all fit in at once, but after I use it, I'll be able to put the leftover in the bottle. I did not have a funnel, so I'm just using this cup because it has those little peaks at the end, which makes it easy to pour into the bottle, even though you'll see that I still do spill just a drop. At this point, I realized the cup was too full and it wasn't going to be enough, so I poured some out so I could pour the adequate amount into my bottle. And as you see, I noticed that I needed a little bit more, so I did go ahead and add more. So now you might be wondering, what's the point of the oil? Oil and water don't mix. No, they do not. But this is more of like a biphase serum-y treatment type of situation. The castor oil is amazing for thickness and hair health, and it also kind of binds the ginger oil, the ginger serum all together so that your hair can absorb it perfectly. That's the way I prefer. So think of it like a biphase spray, like this one from D'Alba, where the oil and water don't mix, but every time you use it, you just need to shake it thoroughly, and then you get the best of everything. So what I like to do when I'm ready to use it is to put it in some pretty hot or warm water just to heat it up, and I let it sit for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then it is ready to use. After this, you notice that when you shake it, it even blends a little bit more, and you don't have to shake it as often because the castor oil is also a little bit thick. Even though it's diluted with the olive oil, it still just makes a much better treatment when it is warm. It also absorbs into your scalp much better. So now it is time for the application. The first way you can use this is as a spot treatment. So if you have any inflammation, if you have any dandruff, if you have any like acne on your scalp, any of those kinds of spots, you can just apply that to that area. But if not, you can also add it all over your scalp like how I'm doing here. And I'm putting a pretty generous amount. As you see, my hair is looking a little crazy because it is ready to be taken out and washed. I am in between protective styles, so I just put my hair in these braids because I didn't have anything to do with it and I just needed a break from my hair. But yeah, my hair is usually in cornrows. That has been my protective style of choice. So as you see, even though it is very liquidy, because of the oils, it's not like dripping everywhere. You see, even when it dripped on my face, it was dripping very slowly. It's not going to be pouring down your shirt or anything like that. So you just want to apply it very evenly over your scalp, and you can be pretty generous again because it doesn't drip. If you're wondering about the smell, it really doesn't smell super strong. It smells like ginger, obviously, because it has a lot of ginger in it, but it doesn't smell very strong. And because it is very few ingredients and it's very watery, you don't have to worry about the smell sticking in your hair. All the products I use in my hair also smell amazing. So, like, as soon as I use my shampoo, any little smell that would have been left over is completely gone. So at the end, after I've done my scalp massage, I like to go around my hairline and just all over my edges and make sure I add a little bit more products over there. And the recommended amount of times to use this is only about once a week, a maximum of 3 times if it's used as a spot treatment. But once a week is just enough for this to be effective for your hair. Indians swear by it, the Yao women swear by it, and if you're wondering if you can use ginger powder instead of fresh ginger, I wouldn't recommend that because it's just not the same. So once I'm done with everything, I like to take a little bit of my elixir and put it just on the ends of my hair because the ends are the oldest and the driest and the part of your hair that needs the most attention. So even though I'm not going to put it all over my hair, I will be putting it on my ends. You actually can put this all over your hair, but for me, because I don't like to use too much shampoo to wash my hair and stuff like that, I refrain from using products that have that much oil. So once this is done, I like to go under heat, under a plastic cap, and then after the plastic cap, I go ahead and put on my microfiber towel, which just helps keep your scalp a little bit warmer, and it prevents any of the liquid from dripping down, even though it doesn't really do that, but just in case, I like to keep this on. You can even go under heat for an additional 20 minutes, but it was extremely hot on this day, so I definitely did not need to do that. I just proceeded to wash my hair after this. And if you want to see what my hair looks like, you can have an idea of the current length of my hair. That's how much product I used, and I refilled it and put the rest in the fridge. And here you can see that if you don't want to use this DIY, you can just buy products that already contain ginger like these ones on the screen. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!